Okay, now we're going to do some second stage water. We put in some first stage, and now we're going to develop this some more. So I'm going to put it on a light coat of extender. Working that in. Okay, and then we're going to take some Prussian blue and raw umber. We're going to work wet into wet, the Prussian blue as well as into the extender, wet into wet. So I'm going to just put some Prussian blue on my brush and put it over here on my palette. And then I'm going to get some raw umber on my brush, and we'll just brush mix this. I'm using a filbert. I don't want a whole lot on my brush, but I'm going to just kind of come back and forth with just kind of a light glaze. I'm not taking it all the way out here too much. If I do, it's just, you know, barely glazing over, but I'm keeping it deeper and bluer back in this area. And same here, as I go up into this little inlet, lightening my pressure, lightening the value. And I'm still pretty transparent too. I still see my imprimatura layer that I put in there. Okay, you know, I'm pressing harder here, but as I come over here, I'm barely on this layer. My brush is just sweeping over it, just carrying a little bit of color. Okay, and then what we're going to kind of scumble a little bit into this wet layer, some softer opaque layers, and let's start with the medium gray. Okay. I'm going to put this right next to where I was because I do still want some of that color in there, but not very much on my brush. And I'm going to start up here. And I'm just lightly scumbling this over top. And I'm going to come down along this shoreline. Okay, pick up a little, you know, more as you need to. And I'm also going to do it on the edge over here. And this is where I kind of need to start making this go into a point. You know, not worrying about my posts here because I can see where they are through this slightly more opaque layer, but I can still see through it. And I'm only going just part way. Looking at my second stage picture 1, I'm seeing where I need to take this. Okay, so we've established that. Now let's go into the light gray. And I want to start up here again. And then we come back over to this area. And we come down. Now I'm going to take my soft mop and smooth that over. Okay, now let's do that light layer one more time, just to kind of reinforce it a little bit. And smooth it over once again. And then let's see, I want to try a little bit of blue mix on there. See how we like that, because that's a little more opaque. I do like that on there. And I need to make sure that I don't get it on my pilings. And then I'm going to leave this as it is, and then I'm going to jump over here. I'm not going to reinforce this line right there at this point. Okay, I think I need a little bit of opaqueness right in here. Now, I think I'll go one more step with my dirty brush. I'm going to go one more step into the warm white. Blend that in with what I've already got on my brush. And then let's come back up here again. Smooth it out. And then we'll come back over here at this edge. Okay, now I think that's light enough for the moment, and opaque enough for the moment. Get these little edges between these pilings. Now let's come back in here. I'm going to clean that out of my brush. And I'm going to go back into what I'd like to do also is on this area here where it's sat for a minute, to come back in with lightly with a little bit of extender. Make sure we've still got wet and wet. Go back into the Prussian blue and raw umber. Brush mix that on your palette. And then up on the chisel edge, let's go in and make a few shadows. Leave spaces in between them, and just kind of barely go up in here to this light that you've been in. Now when I mop it this time, I want to, hold on, I do need to kind of put some of the dark blue here on my edge. So now I'm going to start my mop on this end instead of this end, and I'm going to sweep into the light. And I'll put just a little hint of that up in here. Okay, now I do want this to be darker, but at this point if I add more to it, then I'm just going to take paint off. So I'm going to let mine dry down just a bit, and then I'm going to put some more blues, Prussian blue and raw umber in this area.